The natural opulence of Vrindavan is just like an ocean. The opulence of Dwarka and Vaikuntha is not even to be compared to a drop. Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full of all opulence, and his complete opulence are exhibited only in Vrindavan Dham. That was text 220. This is 221. Vrindavan Dham is made of transcendental touchstone. Its entire surface is the source of all valuable jewels, and the Chintamani stone is used to decorate the lotus feet of the maidservants of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a natural forest of desire trees and creepers, and the inhabitants do not want anything but the fruits and flowers of all those desire trees. In Vrindavan there are cows that fulfill all desires, Kamadhenu, and their number is unlimited. They graze from forest to forest and deliver only milk. The people want nothing else. In Vrindavan, the natural speech of the people sounds like music, and their natural motion resembles a dance. The water in Vrindavan is nectar, and the Brahmajyoti effulgence, which is full of transcendental bliss, is directly perceived there in its form. The gopis there are also goddesses of fortune, and they surpass the goddess of fortune who resides in Vaikuntha. In Vrindavan, Lord Krishna is always playing his transcendental flute, which is his dear companion. The damsels of Vrindavan, the gopis, are super goddesses of fortune. The enjoyer of Vrindavan, the enjoyer in Vrindavan, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The trees there are all wish-fulfilling trees, and the land is made of transcendental touchstone. The water is all nectar, and the talking is singing, and the walking is dancing. And the constant companion of Krishna is his flute, and the effulgence of transcendental bliss is experienced everywhere. Therefore, Vrindavan Dham is the only relishable abode. Text 228. The anklets on the damsels of Brajabhumi are made of the Chintamani stone. The trees are wish-fulfilling trees, and they produce flowers with which the gopis decorate themselves. There are also wish-fulfilling cows, Kamadhenu, which deliver unlimited quantities of milk. Excuse me. These cows constitute the wealth of Vrindavan. Thus, Krishna's opulence is blissfully exhibited. Purport. This verse by Bilavam Thakur is quoted in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.1.173. Srinivas Thakur then began to dance in ecstatic love. He vibrated sounds by slapping his armpits with the palms of his hands, and laughed very loudly. Thus, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu heard these discussions about the pure transcendental mellow of Srimati Radharani. Absorbed in transcendental ecstasy, the Lord began to dance. While Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstatic love, and Swarup Damodar was singing, the Lord said, "Go on singing, and the Lord then extended his own ears. The Lord then extended his own ears. Now, us mortal humans, some of us don't have very big ears. And to extend them sounds sort of ridiculous. But you can see the same symptom if you happen to see some cow, or even a deer in the forest. How some sound comes and they turn their ears forward. So the Lord turned his ears like this, because Krishna is the glance, the living entities entered the material world. Text 232. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love was awakened by hearing the songs of Vrindavan. In this way, he indulated Purushottama Jagannath Puri with love of Godhead. Finally, the goddess of fortune returned to her apartment. In due course of time, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, afternoon arrived. It sounds like the afternoon was a living personality, doesn't it? As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, afternoon arrived. That's because it's describing the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, everything is a person. And we have a hard time reading in Krishna book how Krishna and Balaram jumped off a mountain 88 miles high. We can't conceive of these things. They're really beyond our mental conception. So the purpose behind Krishna consciousness is to teach us how to change our consciousness so that we can see the spiritual world. Actually, what we'll be doing is remembering the spiritual world. Because originally we all came from there. And so these pastimes we are remembering. All these remembrances are within our spirit soul. All these things are there already. And what the spiritual master does when he writes things like this is that it's a reminder to us of what the spiritual world is like, because we've been covered over and we've forgotten what the spiritual world is like. And so these writings by Srila Prabhupada and his translations are reminders to us of what the spiritual world is like. And if we become engaged in devotional service, we become absorbed in our service, whatever kind of service it is. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. It could be some of the most materially obnoxious thing, like cleaning the stool. Or it could be just in the deity. It doesn't matter what kind of service it is, but if we become absorbed in that service, we will remember some of these things. This is why we have to, on a daily basis, we have to read from Prabhupada's books to jolt our memory of the spiritual world. So that when we are doing service, we can again remember these things. Because by remembering these things, we are in spiritual consciousness. We're not in the material world anymore. We're not bound by the laws of Maya Devi. At that time, we're free. And we'll exhibit symptoms of happiness, and no anxiety will be present. So if we want to get rid of anxieties, we need to read, and we need to become absorbed in that service, whatever it is we're doing. Sometimes you may be doing some service and you become so absorbed in it that you don't really notice the passing of the time. And when the service is done, isn't there any more? I remember when I first went to the New Gokula farm in the south end of the Okanagan. I hadn't seen cows for a long time, many years. And so when I first arrived there, I asked, where's the pasturing ground where the cows go to? And a devotee pointed in one direction, so I started walking that way. I'd just returned from India where I'd been on Padayatra. And on Padayatra, I had one service to do was to lead an ox who was very old and couldn't move very fast. So he had been separated from his partner because his partner was young and enthusiastic, and the old ox slowed him down and actually caused problems by that. So I was leading this old ox, and while I was doing that with my left hand, with my right hand, I was chanting japa. And so on Padayatra, you're walking for a minimum of 7 hours a day. So for 7 hours a day, I'm chanting. I'm chanting Krishna's holy name. I'm awakening spiritual consciousness so that when I arrived back here, after coming from India, when I came back and I was going into the pasturing ground, there were big granite outcrops all around, and I was looking around the rock out, looking for the cows, but also looking, where's Krishna? Because my mind was absorbed in remembering Krishna. So when I came to this place, I was, where's Krishna? Because Krishna is always with his cows, and the cows are here. I can hear them chewing, and I can hear them making various different sounds.